training guys, just a quick chat on the new glugs that I've just started doing. Now I'm loving the way that they've come out as well. They look really nice. Look really nice. I'm chuffed with how they've come out. Now one of them's got a bottom bait on, and the other one's a hinge rig on that one. Now this one is a fish meal base one, and it's a dark pearl. It puts a really dark cloud into water when you use it. Now this one in PVA friendly, it's more water based, but a little bit goes a long way with it. It's a great additive to glug boilies up in, but like I say, a bit of it goes a long way. But I'm definitely loving the retroness of them stickers. Stickers look really nice. You can just see it there. Bottom base on that one. Pretty much what Richard caught on, really. That rig. I will be honest with you. It's pretty much that's what he caught on. Helicopter setup with a bottom bait, with a bit of yellow formats. So that's one of the glugs that's new. And this one's a little bit special. It's this one's a rig I use a hell of a lot, and it's an hinge rig. No, sorry, that's a bottom bait. They're both bottom bait. The glugs aren't they? Both bottom baits. Yeah, the glugs. These ones are both bottom baits. It's I decided on doing bottom baits for the glugs. So this one is it's a mixture of pineapple, but also it's got a hell of a lot of actual coconut in it, and I mean a lot of coconut in it, floating around in it. So you'll probably be able to see it here. You'll probably be able to just get it there, just drifting down. But there's a lot of coconut in it. So both of them are really nice. Nice glugs for winter fishing, and they're definitely well worth having if you're going out there and you're fishing PVA sticks, or you're fishing solid bags, and you just want to put a bit of glug in with a bit of either crumb or a bit of crushed boiling flake, and just add a bit of a glug to it to wet it down right a little bit, and then just so your bag's pack more compact. But they definitely watch out for them, because I'm telling you honestly, they're both really nice. And I've cut everything down as they're in what we're doing. I thought to myself that I was doing far too many flavours, and I thought we were doing it was just too many flavours to have around. So I've gone with pineapple butyric acid, tutti frutti, liver and amino, and also KBS. So that's 2 fish meals, 2 fruit baits. Now I may do other ones next year. But it's not going to be. I don't think I will be changing stuff now for a long time. It's the pineapple and butyric acid is definitely it's a great bit all year round. While we were down here, it was first frosted year, so he fished a bottom bait. Richard, he caught it on a bottom bait, so he did something unusual for down there, and that was fished a bottom bait. Most people fish pop up, so that was unusual. I still feel a little bit tired from the trip, to be honest with you. I slept some hours, but like I say, keep your eye out, guys, for these, because they're nice bottles as well. For the money, they're really nice bottles. You're getting a decent amount for your boat. Definitely getting a nice amount for your boat. But there's like I said, there's a few that's a really thick one, but there's big clods of coconut in it. It's just all it's doing is it's putting flake down onto the bottom of the pond, And it's when you see it, you'll see what I mean about it. It's really is a great bait for a great attractor. Definitely 100% on that. But all of them are. The KBS one's just as good as well. The KBS one's good. So they're the three that are that I will be doing. I'll also be doing a Tutti Frutti one, which will also contain coconut, but it won't be in their flake form. It will be more of a finer dusting of coconut. It will be still thick, but it'll be slightly different. But it will be same size bottles, and they're but I think the coconut one will be yellow. But I've not decided on that one yet, because I've not done it yet. It's I've been. This is pretty much one I've been using a lot this year, and I've also done a fair bit with this, so that's the reason for them two being main ones on show. So that's just a thing where we're at now. As I've got to roll, I think I've got to roll about 4 kilo tomorrow. I've just got some out of freezer if someone wants them Friday, so I've just got 4 kilo. I'll roll 4 kilo like I said tomorrow. And then one of the guys that wants that, he ordered a mug as well, which mugs come out really nice. Honestly, it's I'm well impressed with them. It's the same logo as what's on there, but it looks really nice on mugs. Really, it's come out a little bit darker, and I really like it. It looks kind of really red. I wanted them to look retro, and it is. She's definitely achieved that. Definitely really has achieved it. I'm happy with him, really am. So it's them as well. But the other thing is, I'll see if I can get them to show you. I've had quite a few people asking me about cured range. Now, I think a lot of people have been reading a lot of new stuff that Mark Holmes is putting out there, and believe me guys, these taste really solid now. They've drawn salt in, and they taste really salty now. So I will give them a bit longer in there. In fact, I would actually give them until next. If personally, I mean these have been pretty much ordered, but I will give it till next. If it were personally me, I'd give them till next spring. I've took the salt down to a fine crumb in these. Just because from what I read, it were easier for the baits to intake it. You put the baits in while they're still a little bit moist, and they suck salt in. It preserves them for one, but can't love salt. So, but they're supposedly a really good bait in winter. Now this is a larger tub, this one, but it's I've already got a guy that's ordered it. He's had a fair bit of it off me, so I'm going to give him this one. It's I'm really chuffed with it. They've come out as well. They've come out lovely. So that's where we're at. We're so far with all that to do with the new packaging, and that's the way it's all going to be from now on. I can't ever see it really changing. I'll be perfectly honest with you, because I'm really happy with how they come out. I think they look great. So that's how they're going to be, I think, from now until the future. That's where they're going to be. And that bag, they've just got a small sticker, roughly around about that size, that just goes above where you can just see into the viewing section. And the other thing as well is, the majority of the baits that I've been doing, I've been testing them a lot, and they don't need no preservatives in them. The shelf life baits as it is, they don't need no preservatives in there, so I've done away with that, as long as they're air dried right. So what I've started to do is I've started to roll them, and I've started to air dry them myself. So when they go out, they're air dried, and I know for definite 100% right, they're bagged. And all you need to do is just get out there and fish with them, and then when you've done, seal bag up and bring whatever's left home with you. And as long as you squeeze the air out of the bag and seal it up, they should be fine. But they will be air dried when you get them. You won't have to mess about air drying them. They will be air dried. I've cut down a lot on. It's still the exact same mix, but I've just made it just a little less oily. If trying to use I've still got a lot of nut in there, but there's certain nuts, believe it or not, that are more oily than others. Like peanut is a really, really oily nut compared to, say, an almond nut. An almond's a far drier nut. There's not as much oil in it, but it's still a nice. It's still a flavour that carb like. It's a walnuts is another one that's a really nice, but that is slightly oily. So there's still a good nut content in there. There's tiger nut and there's also almond, but I've tried to steer away from oil as much as possible. I did notice over there while I was fishing down on the meadow that KBS were, it were kind of, when I was putting it in, it was flattening. Like, nah, most people would have loved that, but I kind of didn't. But I know what did it. So guys, it was the glug. I was using a glug that I'd been using through summer. I had a little bit of it left and I stuck it in with it, and I shouldn't have used that glug. I should have used the glug that I gave Richard to use. I should have put some of that in, because that had far less oil in it. So it would have been far better for not flattening it like off. But it didn't flatten it off for long anyway, just a few minutes, and then it kind of drifted off anyway. So, but the bait never drifted. It hung and it fell perfectly, because I tested it about 4 or 5 times and it looked lovely. And I've even put a photo up on here somewhere on format page, so on Facebook, so you'll be able to get to see that. And on the way that, I mean, when I talk about Christmas tree effect, it's the way it sits in weed. Have a look at it. It's on Facebook. It's an amazing picture of just how that KBS sits and why it's so appealing to fish. It's no different to tinsel on a Christmas tree. It's just full of food, and that's the reason that I've been pulling them out of weed this year, because they've been getting the nuts down and feeding right on. So to the point that, on a few sessions I've done, I've actually noticed that I've got fish feeding because I've seen weed come to the surface where they've been ripping the bottom up, and that's true. So it's definitely well worth thinking about. Is that? But it's the KBS is a glug that I've already sussed now. It's not got as much oil and that in it, so it's Richard was using it on weekend. So it's that one's pretty much good to go. It's just tutti frutti one I will work on a bit, but we'll get there. It shouldn't be that hard. But that's the new packaging, and that's just a bit on what we did. Now a few words on water meadow. It was strange. It was strange. It were almost like it were. The weather was too good. The carp didn't know what was going on, because we went from bright sunshine to temperature dropped at night, and I mean real drop in temperature, to the point when we woke up in the morning there were frost on that, and net were pretty frosty as well. It weren't to the point where it was solid, but it had a frost on it. So, and it was the first frost I've been told that's I've told 2 kids while I've been back, and they both said that must be the first frost that they've had down there, because they hadn't seen that this year on there. And it was definitely I mean, I said it before I went with Richard. I knew that if we were going to get a frost, it was going to be while we went with Richard, because it always happens. It always does. If we're going to get bad weather, it's when I fish with Richard. But I think what happened is that weather during day is we made it, well I did anyway, I made a bit of commotion when I very first got there, finding spots, getting bait out, getting out rigs right, sat right, then spodding, and then doing the normal sitting down and waiting for the rods to go. Now I was fishing effectively. There's no doubt in my mind there was nothing wrong with the rigs. When I was bringing them back, I just had the odd strand of what I call onion weed, but it's just blanket weed. And I had the odd strand of it on my boom down to my hook. But I was picking that up as I was bringing the rig in, 100%, because if I whipped the rig up fast and reel it across the surface, there was hardly anything on the hook, but I got the odd bit on the hook link, which tells me that the rig foam sat up, and then as the rig foam melted away, the hook link sat down lovely on top of weed. So it was fishing. I was fishing effectively. There's nothing really I could have done about that. Now, there's a few things that I would definitely have changed if looking back on it, but it's all about really learning from like I've said before, it's all about learning. And the thing what I should have done is I saw a fish show. Now I was convinced that because we were there for 48 hours, I was convinced that eventually those fish would end up over my bait. And now they did end up over my bait, but they ended up over my bait on the morning we went far too early. We should have stayed. We actually went early because we wanted to. Well, Richard mentioned about he wanted to go to Blacktop Sands to photograph marsh harriers, and they were a bird that I would have liked to have photographed, as well as a white-tailed lapwing. So, and I've not seen one before, so I would like to have photographed that, but we were just chasing it around. It was pointless. We should have stayed, and then I was told later that he wouldn't have moved us off the lake because no one else was booked on, so we could have possibly got away with being on there while about 4. Now I'm devoted about that because that last morning I started to get deep. Now there weren't fish doing me. I put a tight line on. I was fishing a tight line. I was fishing for line bites. I wanted to know if there was anything in my swim, so I was fishing for line bites. Now I was getting all the time, so I was there was fishing area 100%. So all I needed to do was just to slacken off, bring the rigs back in and put them back out there. Look for in the similar area to where I was fishing, but look for a nice, refreshing hook bait, and nice, and that get back out there, nicely again, no bait over the top, and just sit and wait. And I guarantee you, we would have had fish. We would have had fish. Listen, he was getting liners as well. Richard, even had the bobbin lifted all the way up on his, and all the way back down again, and we left. Now, it was a major mistake leaving, and it's not what it never happened again. I'll never, ever, and never, not when now I know that if no one's booked on that lake the day after you've gone, you're in no rush to leave, honestly. If he wants you to off there, he'll come up and say to you, is there any chance you can pack up now, lads, and get off here, you've been on long enough. Now, we could have possibly got away with it until tea time, like I said, and I guarantee you now, if we would have stayed until tea time, we would have had fish. Definitely. Nah, and that's not me saying that. It's a I'm gutted about what we did, because that trip, I really enjoyed that trip. It's probably the best session I've had all year, to be honest with you. I enjoyed photography side of it. I enjoyed a drink. I enjoyed the chat what we had about photography and wildlife with Richard and all. I enjoyed it all. It was really good. But it's the only thing that I regret is that we left that lake too early. We should have stayed on longer. We would have had fish. Would have had more fish. I mean, Richard had one. He had a small mirror, but we would definitely have had fish. They were on that bait as we left. They were on that bait, and I know that for definite. They was definitely on that bait, and to the point that whoever was on there after us, I bet they had it off big style, and I guarantee you're on that, because just the amount of knocks that I was getting. So if anyone drops into that pay, I would pretty much bet money on it that they had a few fish, definitely. And I'm joining it next year, there's no doubt about it, 100%. It's kind of got me out of that place. I really do like it. I love the space you've got. I love it, but when I hit it next year, believe me, I'm gonna hit it big time, like a treating this year. That's getting it the same. It's not gonna be. I'm not messing about. I'm not messing about when I go down there, and it's gonna be for a week, and I'm gonna absolutely put fucking me out and soul into catching one of them big ones that are in there. Now there's more than one big one. I saw the fish that I saw show. It was over a mark that I'd seen him show before. So straight away, that session went about nothing. It was about learning. I've done 2 sessions on there, and on 2 of them sessions, I've seen a fish show over a mark. Now that tells me that it is a natural feeding area for them fish, for it to show over that exact mark. So everything's about learning. I learned quite a lot about it. Now I learned a fair bit about that swim as well. It's to go and swim on there. It's where everybody wants to be. But I'll be honest with you, I think the reason everybody wants to ring is because it's the nearest one. Simple as. The others are a bit further out lake and it's a bit muddy and all that, you know what I mean, getting your car through and divots and stuff in path and all that, but I won't be in there next time. I know where I'll be, and that's where that big fish is showing, and I guarantee you on that.